Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. I hope you're all having a fantastic time. Story time. I've got atmosphere, a couple of candles, trying to make it so you can actually see something on this video and that it's not in pitch black, but I haven't got any candles for our candelabras, which are they're quite good. They throw off quite a lot. Graham, you've just stood in front of the light. Come and join us because that's it.
Sorry. You fool! You damn fool!
There was an eclipse there. I'm not saying you're wide, it's a very small light. So I wanted to talk about two subjects tonight. Firstly, the royal family's PR, and secondly, the science of ghosts, and maybe a few ghost stories to go with it. I was thinking today that actually Meghan and Harry, and this video isn't really about them, they have done more to inform and educate a lot of people, including myself and probably you, about
how things go on.
The royal family, yeah, because, I mean, there were things I didn't actually know. I knew the gold carriage was not gold, but I knew it was made of wood and gold leaf over it, but I didn't know that there was a gold coach. Well, I knew there was a gold coach for the City of London, but I didn't know there was one for the House of Commons.
Is there?
Yes, there is. There are 3 of them.
Oh.
There are things like that, and certain protocol. I didn't know what. I'd never heard of RAVEC. Is it the security committee that decide on royal protocol?
I didn't know all the tiaras were under Buckingham Palace in a vault. So Meghan went down there and blabbed.
Well, that's according to Omid Scobie, isn't it?
Meghan had nothing to do with that.
So, and the thing is that every time she throws shit at the royal family, people, not the royal family, but people feel they have to come forward and defend, and that's where the education part of it comes across. So she's actually unintentionally improved their image, especially to Americans.
She'd be kicking herself now, wouldn't she?
And a lot of people who were maybe thinking they didn't want a monarchy. They're now like, oh, I get it. Right, so that doesn't belong to the actual private Windsor family.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Hello. That is Jennifer, our security robot. Jennifer keeps an eye on the whole house. And that I'm coming to that in a bit. Can you move, Jennifer? Hide her somewhere. Put her away. She's looking at me. And she's lighting up and she's going to go, who are you in the house? Because I haven't got facial recognition. But I'm going to come to that. That comes to part of the science of ghosts. Because Jennifer actually, we did not an experiment, we discovered some weird science with Jennifer. Oh, she's frowning at me now with red lights. So yeah, I think Meghan has done, without even realising, I see all the puff pieces. Oh, thanks to Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow, they're all besties and they're going to help her build a Hollywood career. That she wants her children to have a relationship with King Charles now. I mean, there's nothing new out there. There's nothing new. It's just piffle, 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 as my grandmother would have said. It's just a load of the same old nonsense. And it becoming extremely disinteresting. We've had quite a hectic week, haven't we, Graham? And we're quite frazzled. Actually, that's why did I do a video yesterday? I don't think I did.
Day before.
Yeah, day before, and I don't think I did one the day before that, and that's unlike me. I have been really, really tired. We've been quite frazzled this week, but no, it's just one of those weeks, isn't it? We all have them from time to time. Has your opinion changed? Because you were quite, well, not anti the royal family, but you had your misconceptions.
I was always on the side of monarchy. I wasn't like a staunch monarchist, saluting the television at 12 o'clock when they play the national anthem and all that. No, I knew people who were. No, I was borderline monarchist, I'm sort of in the plus side, definitely monarchist. Especially I want to see Diana's boy back on the throne. Well, not say back, but Diana's boy on the throne, not Harry.
You're talking about William.
I'm talking about William.
Yeah, a lot of people forget Diana had 2 boys.
Yeah.
2 boys. William gets horribly overlooked when people talk about Diana's boys.
He'll make a great king, I'm convinced.
But I think, because Diana was... We love Diana, but there was damage done to the monarchy. There is no denying that. And I think that any damage that was done to the monarchy during the Diana era Megan has actually almost fixed it in a way. And she's made, like, for example, a lot of people criticise the Netflix show The Crown. Well, actually, The Crown, season 1 and 2, made me really warm to Her Late Majesty, massively. And I think a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think the earlier ones were the best though.
I mean, your favourite was always Philip, wasn't it? You loved Philip.
Diana was my favourite.
He'll never admit it, but he does.
Diana was my favourite.
No,
But
come
Phil
on. He was a pretty cool guy.
Most successful man that ever lived.
Oh, great. What? Did she just say stop?
He goes, hello.
Oh, right. Hello. She sounds like Megan.
It's one of those moving cameras that looks around. It's
She's-
motion detection and that.
Lights, camera, action, eh, Jennifer? Hello, Jennifer. She's not, at the moment, well, she's not really doing her thing. So anyway, I think that people who are monarchists fear too much the PR that Meghan's done. And actually, I think she's done a lot to help the monarchy by trying to hurt it. She's actually helped. Right, ghosts. So anyone who's not interested in ghosts,
Switch off now.
yeah, that's enough of Meghan. I grew up in a mansion, a town mansion, terraced, but it was by no stretch of the imagination a mansion. It was a majority solicitors' offices, and we lived in the flat above because my dad owned half the building. And I was born in 1970, and I lived in that building until 1990 when we moved out. And I'll put a link in the description because a lot of you have asked about it. It was haunted really badly, like poltergeist activity.
The whole of Lewes is haunted, isn't
The
it?
whole of Lewes, yes.
Badly.
And so that is really what my interest in ghosts, that's where it stems from. Because some people have never seen a ghost and they're interested because they want to see a ghost. Some people are like me, they've seen ghosts and they were really scared, or heard things or experienced things, they're scared. Some people have experienced ghosts and not been scared, but there are clearly a lot of people who are interested in it, and I think it is a science that's greatly underlooked, and I think it is a science. There's definitely a science. I've had the other experiences, the weird little alien thing on the staircase, and a very strange experience on Delbed Beach when I had massive deja vu and I don't know what the hell that was all about. And you've had experiences. We've all had, most of us have had some sort of experience.
Yeah.
What's the, like...
I've seen things I can't explain. But I'd love to see a ghost, a real ghost going,
Yeah.
woo! Not doing that.
In a sheet with eye holes.
Yeah, we're not going to do a screamer, by the way. Some people do.
No, I used to love watching them.
They just come in, they just, as you're talking seriously, someone just goes,
Yeah,
with a white face and a scary mask.
I used to love watching them, and I used to watch loads and loads
Screamers,
of
we call them.
ghost videos on YouTube, and some of the best ones have been taken down. All right, Jennifer,
Hello.
in a minute. Well, coming to Jennifer, because then we can turn her off, because we don't normally have her on at home. You know, God knows who's watching. But I'll show you Jennifer. And she's one of many, but this was our first. This is a robot camera. And she looks around. She's looking at me because I'm talking and I'm making noise. I think she does know who I am.
Ooh, ooh. No, she's moist, isn't
Oh,
it?
she's giving me all red dots
Yo.
at the moment. Try and show her. She has red dots. She's got heat seeking. She's got night vision. She's quite sophisticated. She was about €250 when we bought her. I think we can
That was
turn.
years ago, though, wasn't it?
I think we can turn her off now.
Yeah,
Now,
we
when
can.
we first bought her, I set her up in this kitchen, and Benji was quite little, and he had a couple of friends who'd come for a sleepover, and they were fascinated with Jennifer. And they wanted to know if they could get through the kitchen by crawling along the floor and out to the garden without Jennifer noticing them. And they couldn't. She put her red eyes on, and they thought it was hilarious. And I was watching it on my phone, the playback video, the live feed that she was giving off. And every time the children giggled, there were millions of white orbs coming off them. Like, orbs, you know, when people say they've taken a photograph of an orb. And when they giggled, there'd be like a flood of them, like bubbles. It was incredible. So, I mean, get one of those cameras, and that was under the heat seeking, because we had the lights off. They said, turn the lights off, give us a really good chance, and we'll creep through. And she caught them every single time. And every time she caught them, and she'd say, hello, they'd giggle, and blah. Do you remember that?
Do you reckon we could do a live with Jennifer? If you hook the webcam up and just have it on in the house.
Oh!
When we're not in, and we see any orbs and things, and see what it gets
The thing
on.
I find is, because I used to watch the house from work, not so much now because I'm not in Jib so much now. I'm actually in the house or on the boat, but I used to watch it, and if a dog barks, Jennifer, it sounds like the dog's inside the house, doesn't it? Or someone having a conversation outside the house. Her ears are so strong. But
noisy motorbikes.
Yeah, but when you're here in reality, it's not actually that noisy. So
it beams everything to the cloud, and it sends you a text message, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Going, intruder, noise.
Yeah.
It takes pictures as
Yeah.
well, and they've
Yeah.
all gone to the cloud. So if someone did break into your house and think, oh, smash the camera, it's too late. It's gone. It's on the cloud.
Yeah, I mean it's quite common practice these days.
Yeah.
And we have these various
There's much
robots.
better ones than that now, isn't
We've
there?
got all. I think she's pretty top class because we bought another one, or someone bought another one that was the same model, but they only paid €100, and it was absolutely rubbish in comparison to the original.
You can get them with screw in where the
Yeah.
light bulbs are. You just screw them in.
Door
and you
cams.
power up
Have
and
you ever
look
watched
around.
door cam videos on YouTube?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's that crazy lady that was saying, let me in. And the woman in the house was like, who are you? Go away. And this woman breaking in was going, let me in. What's happening? And the top comment was that the burglar stole the house owner's line. Who are you? What's happening? It's crazy. And people, so that, yeah, it's quite common for people to have them. But Jennifer did pick up the bubbles. And they were definitely orbs.
I'll clean the lens and put it on again, see if we can get anything else.
We'll have to see if we can pick up laughter and stuff with that, because I tried a ghost app
I remember.
a couple of months ago. I don't think I'll bother with that. But I mean, what are ghosts? What are they? I bet you there's a whole science.
I don't believe they're dead relatives, because I've never seen any of my dead relatives. Not even felt them around. Maybe I'm just really insensitive. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they can be. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to see someone who's died, who's completely solid, you can't see through them. My grandfather died when my mum was a baby, and her gran saw him, and he was solid, and he'd been buried. They'd had the funeral, and she couldn't believe it, and she said, oh, Joe, you're not dead after all. And she turned to call my gran, his wife, and when she looked back, he'd gone. And I've heard that type of thing a lot. So what is that? A memory, a shadow, time travel? It is fascinating, and it's a shame there isn't more invested in the science. People are always
So when you start talking about ghosts, you go, oh, you're a nutter.
Yeah. It's
You're
not
a
until
Looney Tune.
I think you've really experienced something. I mean, I've read so many comments from people on this channel who've had terrifying experiences. They felt people sit down on the bed. There are people who've had nice experiences. They're certain it's someone who's in their family who's died, who's with them. All different experiences. And there's nothing like witness testimony, is there? As the makers of the Titanic film, not the Cameron one, the one before, the raising of the Titanic in one piece. Well, they should have believed the witnesses on the Titanic, shouldn't they? So for anyone who's a bit sceptical out there, that's a prime example of how witness testimony is actually really important. The witnesses said the ship broke in half and sank in two different directions. No one believed them, and they even made that film in, I think it was the 1980s or 90s,
Raise the Titanic.
because they had not discovered the two halves, or more than that, on the seabed. And that's when James Cameron decided to do the actual Titanic thing with Kate Winslet. So witness testimony is very important. And having grown up in it, I mean, I'll put a link to my ghost stories in A6 High Street. There were lots of episodes, but the video below is really the two most strange, really freaked me out. But one time, me and my sister, one of my sisters, we were home alone. It wasn't particularly late. We weren't particularly young. I think my sister would have been about 15 or 16, so I'd have been about 7 or 8. We're just watching telly. It was about 6 or 7 in the evening, so the sun was going down, starting to get dark, but when you open the flat door, looking down the big grand staircase, it was pitch black. It was always pitch black. They had a bit of a skylight in the roof, but there was no natural daylight. And we all grew up very apprehensive and scared of the house. And we were watching something like Batman, and there was an almighty bang. I mean, it sounded like my father's bookcase or something had fallen right over. So we both ran to the flat door, opened the door, looking down into the pitch black. It's totally silent. And my elder sister just shut the door and put the snib on and said, "We're waiting until our parents get home. We're not going down to investigate that." And we just carried on watching telly, sort of conditioned, because we were used to that sort of shit in the house. I mean, I had a friend who was not a faint-hearted lad, actually. He was murdered eventually. That's another story. But he was my best friend at Lewes Priory. And he was a really bolshy character. And he'd come round to the flat one night. And I said, "Oh, do you want to stop the night?" And he went, "Yeah, all right, we'll stay up and chat all night." And so my dad was asleep in bed, my mother was in the living room, me and my mate were sitting in, well, I can say his name because he's dead now, Dominic. We're sitting in my bedroom, and we heard these footsteps coming up the stairs directly to the flat, like bang, 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 bang. And we knew there was no one else in the house. And he said, "It's got to be your mother." So we went through to the front room, and she said, "No, I haven't been anywhere. I didn't hear any footsteps." And he just said to me, "I'm sorry, Fiona. Your house freaks me out. I'm not staying the night." And that was coming from him. I mean, he was a lad. He was fearless. And he said, "No, I'm not staying in this house, not one night."
Not as soft as you think then, was he?
Well, not as hard as I thought, yeah. No, he was right.
All that.
He was really, really tough, you know. He wasn't scared of anything, but he said, "Your house is dead weird, dead weird." And that was not uncommon to hear the footsteps coming up to the flat. That was quite a frequent thing. And we had a flat door, you know, very thin one, you know, wafer thin. Bit of drywall between us and the rest of the building, because it was just lightly partitioned, because it was our private
punch
space.
your way through the wall easier than breaking the door down.
Oh yeah, easily. You know, because they boxed it off because of the little girl who fell over. There was a little girl who fell over the banisters in the.
Yeah, but she didn't die. Did she?
She didn't die, no. But it was like real omen territory, and I think her father shot himself, and loads of. We were the last family to live in that house. Nobody's lived in it since, and there were a series of families, and Brummy Lizzie did and loads of other people did research into the previous families and stuff, and we all pieced it together, the story.
Didn't Sandra do some as well?
Yes,
Sandra
yes.
Parrott.
Sandra Parrott did some research as well and got some newspaper clippings and stuff, genealogy.
She finds out loads of stuff.
Yeah,
She's
so,
really good.
I mean, it fascinates me. There must be some sort of science behind it, so I would love to hear some of your theories as to what you think they might be. And also, do you really think that Meghan and Harry and all their nonsense has damaged the monarchy or benefited it? Personally, I think now they really are genuinely a laughingstock, and I think they've informed and educated a lot of people who live in countries that don't have monarchies, who've suddenly realised, oh, maybe there is a benefit.
I think a lot of people in America have suddenly taken interest in the British royal family.
Yes.
Because Meghan's one of them.
I think,
And,
no. I think there's always been an interest in the royal family in America from a certain percentage. And yes, I think that there's such a misunderstanding of how it works, particularly with the British monarchy, which is a long-standing one, that people have gone, oh, right, oh, that makes sense. It doesn't seem quite so Cinderella Disney and stuff. And I think she has, without realising it. She's been there, Oprah. He's been doing Spare, trying to damage it all. And far from it. I think people have sympathised with them and thought, right, we can see what they're doing now.
And for those of you in America, King Arthur, okay, did not exist.
Well, it's never been proved. He might have done.
No, he didn't. It was
tell
just
you
a
what.
myth.
He exists now because one of King Charles's names is Arthur. And
But he could have been Arthur.
I was hoping, because they can choose one of their names, I was hoping he would choose Arthur and be King Arthur. I think that would have been awesome. But King Charles, we're all used to Charles, so I suppose that makes sense. Anyway.
I guess he's been pondering it
for a very long time. I bet it crossed his mind. I bet it crossed his mind. That would have been awesome. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Who knows what next week will hold? Who knows what the future holds? Only time travellers. And we might be going live over the weekend because we're just going to chill out. We've really had enough this week, haven't we? So we're going to chill out tomorrow, Sunday and Monday.
Yes.
So unless Madam in Montecito does something drastic, we can all go live and compare notes and see what we all think about everything and put the world to rights. Good
idea, darling.
Put the earth to rights. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, we look forward to hearing your freedom of speech.